on KTRS.
Okay, 7:50 here, Big 550 KTRS. Lots of attention, of course, on the big race, but there's a lot of smaller races here in Missouri, and lots getting some attention. Did I read where the Attorney General's office race has raised $10 million? Big-time donors are coming in trying to influence elections, and in the city of St. Louis, there is an open circuit attorney seat because Jennifer Joyce, the longtime circuit attorney, is resigning to go get an RV and drive around the country. That's a whole other story. But she has endorsed Mary Pat Carl, who, now you worked in the office, have you not?
I'm there now. I've been there for 13 years. 13 years, and you now want to be elected to the circuit attorney in the city of St. Louis. Thanks for joining us, Mary Pat Carl.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so George Soros, who is a mega donor, gives to all the big campaigns, has put how much money into your opponent's campaign?
Over $100,000.
Why would George Soros put $100,000 into a circuit attorney race in the city of St. Louis? He lives in New York, doesn't he?
I actually don't know where he lives.
Why is he so interested in this race?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I think that's one that's gone unanswered by my opponent.
Who is he endorsing?
He's donated over $100,000 to Kim Gardner.
And I mean, what's the argument? What's the controversy? Why are you a better candidate than her? Let's just start there.
Well, I'm a better candidate because I've got the experience. I have more experience as a prosecutor than all of my opponents do combined.
Mm-hmm. And how much money do you normally raise and spend for the circuit attorney's race in the city of St. Louis?
Well, I've raised over $250,000, but I've done it one check at a time, and I've done it from people who live and work and have an interest in the city of St. Louis.
Right. How much money has she raised other than this $100,000 from George Soros?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that, but I know the bulk of her money, well over 50%, is coming from George Soros, if not very higher than that.
Now, he's not breaking any laws. She's not breaking any laws. So what's the big deal? Why can't he give money to a candidate if he likes her?
Well, he certainly can, but there's three core values of being a circuit attorney: independence, transparency, and accountability to the public. My issue with George Soros weighing in of essentially buying a candidate in the circuit attorney race is that, one, how does that affect her independence? What happens when she makes a decision that George Soros doesn't like? He's basically bankrolled her entire campaign. Two, the way that it was done. There is no law that prevented George Soros from filling out and writing a check to Kim Gardner. Yet they funneled it through a PAC with the vague name, and it was only after some digging by the press that they figured out George Soros was behind that PAC. So if you're going to run a campaign on transparency, which she has, why not start with the way that you run your campaign?
So you're saying that he legally laundered money to hide the fact that he was actually backing her?
He laundered. He put it through a PAC instead of writing a check directly to her, where it would have been on her report for anyone to see. If she was proud of her George Soros money, there was nothing that prevented George Soros from just writing her a check.
George Norris, a very liberal backer of candidates. You have been endorsed by the St. Louis City Police Association, correct?
I have.
How much of this is he is sort of backing? There's a perception that it's the police versus the citizens. St. Louis being many times an inner city, a metro area. How much is this perception like he's sort of not necessarily backing the police candidate, if you will?
Well, first, let's talk about, I have the police union endorsement. I'm proud to have that endorsement. But when it comes right down to it, their check to me was $2,000, which is less than 1% of the money that I've raised. So if this is about, funding a candidate because I have the police backing, then the match would have been $2,000.
Right. But I mean, is she a? I don't want to say this, but I'm going to ask you: is she the Black Lives candidate? Is she the Black Lives candidate?
Well, I think 3 out of 4 of us have stood up and said that Black Lives Matter. I think that what his intentions are, I don't know, but I think that at the tune that he has funded her, I think that's a good question for her and for him to answer.
You have been endorsed by Jennifer Joyce.
I have been, yes.
And she's been there how long? 16 years?
She's been in the office longer. She's been elected for 16 years when she finishes her term.
And is she really buying an RV with her husband and driving all around America?
She's already purchased it. So they're actually giving it a whirl right now and testing it out. But yeah, she really is.
Any truth that George Soros bought her RV to get her out of the area?
I don't think there's any truth to that.
What is the biggest issue that you see pressing on the circuit attorney in the city of St. Louis?
The violent crime. You know, we had 188 homicides last year. We're on track to match or exceed it this year.
Of those 188, how many were solved?
I couldn't tell you. I think it's around 60%.
That's 40% that are unsolved.
Absolutely. We need witnesses to come forward. We need people to stand up. And that's why one of the top things I want to do is establish a witness protection unit, because if we want people to come forward, we have to tell them we have their back.
Do you have people who say, I know it, I've seen it, but I'm not talking?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. There's people that have seen something. Maybe they want to point you in the right direction. They want to give the police a hint, but they are never going to take a witness stand. They're afraid.
So have they said to you, I know it, I'm just not telling you?
It's never that direct, but when you sit across the table from people, there's so many times that they know more than they're telling you.
Right. What are you from St. Louis originally?
I am. I grew up in North County.
North County. And where'd you go to law school?
WashU.
WashU. Ladies and gentlemen, she's Mary Pat Carl. She's she's one of the attorneys in the circuit attorney's office. Been there a number of years. Now you want to graduate to the head position of circuit attorney of the city of St. Louis, endorsed by Jennifer Joyce, the police, and making a stink that George Soros is giving. How much money did he give?
Over $100,000.
Over $100,000 to your opponent. There you go. Website to find out more, Mary Pat Carl.
That's it, Mary Pat Carl.
MaryPatCarl.com.
Yep.
You got it. Mary, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
I have a ticket. Can you handle the ticket for me?
No, we don't do tickets.
I thought I'd ask. I've got World Series tickets. Never mind. I don't want to go there. 7:56, Big 5.